of our production staff and cast, we thank you for being here tonight. Betty Gatto, Hal Workman, and I will be your crowd control managers. Please take note of the emergency exits on the right and left sides of the room. Tonight, we'll take a nostalgic trip back in time to the 1940s, when the world was at war, but families were able to enjoy peaceful entertainment at home, listening to the radio. To get you into the mood of the era, we'll start off with a short film clip which shows an actual 1940s radio broadcast in progress, as a young boy listens to a cowboy program and imagines the horses galloping through his bedroom. For those of you who have seen our previous shows, I can assure you that Lenny Massetti will not appear in drag in any part of the show. Following the performance, coffee and pastries will be served in the outer lobby. It is very important that you turn your cell phones completely off. They can interfere with the electronics that we are using. And now, relax and enjoy Back in the Day.
Hurry!
Betty, where's your Uncle Pete?
We were held uptown, 3 men. They took the flying V payroll and headed up toward Pine Gap, and they took Uncle with them.
Come on, the house quick. We'll get the boys together and go in.
No, I'll take the jitney into town and get my car.
All right, Betty.
Hello?
Bring up the boys, man. Tell them to meet me at Pine Creek Forks. The flying V payroll's been robbed. Pete Belden's been kidnapped. Tell the boys to ride. Hey, George, where'd you put that ammunition? It's in your desk. Which drawer? The middle one.
I declare, I'll never get these dishes done. Like a storm coming up, too. Hello? What is it?
Inspector, Mrs. Jones. Jeff runs in the office.
I'll call him, May. He's out in the yard.
Send him to Pine Creek Forks. Hurry, Sophie.
Fred! Oh, Fred!
Hello.
Posse, Fred. Sheriff wants you at Pine Creek Forks. They're riding.
All right.
Oh, boss. Betty. Hey, Joe. Where's Sandwich? Tom wants some coffee. Something's burn, I reckon.
All right, Fred. Better stop that thing, boy. Going to the farm.
See you later, Mom.
Be careful, Fred. Hello, May. They've gone. Have you got the other boys?
Stop. I'll call you back from the now.
Hello?
Payroll robbery. He's here at Pine Creek Forks. Pick up all the stuff from there.
I'm riding, Terry. We'll get that wagon all the way. Where's your boy, Junior?
He's back on the far section of the arena.
In there, too. Get down over there. I can't hear you. Wait a minute. Now, what'd you say? Somebody held up the jitney. Probably the Hicks gang. Bring your horse and head for Pine Creek. Guess they're going through the gap. Hurry up and I'll meet your friends.
And so, as the storm breaks around them, the sheriff's posse gathers at Pine Creek Forks, prepared for action.
One moment to broadcast time. Take your places, please. Take your places. Quiet in the studio. Quiet, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Believe it or not, There was a time before iPods, YouTube, 3D movies, the internet, and online video games. Way back in the day, sitting around the living room radio was a family tradition. If you can remember back before 1955, and I think many of us can, then you surely recall being entertained and informed by the radio. If you're too young to remember the early radio days before DJs and rock and roll, then maybe your parents spoke of those nostalgic times. And now, let's relive some old radio memories.
Get wild through cream oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. Make me sounding lanolin. You better get wild through cream oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You find out you'll have a tough time, Charlie. Keeping all the cows away.
Hiya, Baldy.
Get a bottle right away.
The druggist has it.
A little goes a long, long way.
You hear her screaming.
Keeps you looking neat all day.
Can you guess what popular show was broadcast on the radio from 1933 to 1954 and starred a heroic masked rider? Lone Ranger. Broadcasts were so much a part of everyday life they could influence behavior. such as one particular Halloween night when Orson Welles terrified thousands and created a national panic about an impending alien invasion during the Mercury Theater of the Air presentation of The War of the Worlds. Here are some actual excerpts from that one-hour broadcast of October 30th, 1938. But first,
Watch out for cigarette hangover. That stale, musty, smoked out taste in your mouth. Watch out! That tight, dry, uncomfortable feeling in your throat. That's what takes the joy out of smoking. And when that happens, it's time to switch to Philip Morris. Over 2 million smokers have switched to Philip Morris. Remember, top doctors, eminent nose and throat specialists actually suggest Philip Morris in cases of irritation due to smoking. You'll be glad tomorrow you smoked Philip Morris today.
Friends, it's so foolish to suffer with an ordinary headache when Broma Seltzer gives you such fast, pleasant relief, three-way relief. Broma Seltzer is so pleasant to take. It works so fast to help your headache and stomach distress. Get Broma Seltzer today.
From the Meridian Room in the Park Plaza Hotel in New York City. Tonight, we bring you the music of Ramona Raquel for your dancing pleasure. First, with a touch of the Spanish, Ramona leads off with La Compasita.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program for a special host. 20 minutes before 8, several explosions of incandescent gas occurred on the planet Mars. The gas is moving towards the Earth with enormous velocity.
We now return you to the music of Ramona Raquel, playing for you in the Meridian Room.
Ladies and gentlemen, following up on our bulletin a moment ago, the Government Meteorological Bureau has requested all large observatories to keep a watch on any further disturbances occurring on the planet Mars. We now take you to Princeton, New Jersey, where our commentator, Carla Phillips, will interview famous astronomer, Professor Richard Pearson.
This is Carla Phillips, speaking to you from the Observatory at Princeton. Professor Pearson stands on a small platform, peering through a giant lens. Professor, what do you see as you observe the planet Mars?
Nothing unusual at the moment, Miss Phillips. A red disk swimming in a blue sea.
Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Pearson has just received a message. 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Seismograph registered shock of almost earthquake intensity occurring within a radius of 20 miles of Princeton. Signed Lloyd Gray, Chief of Astronomical Division. Professor Pearson, could this occurrence have something to do with the disturbances observed on the planet Mars?
Hardly, Miss Phillips. This is probably a meteorite of unusual size, and its arrival at this particular time is merely a coincidence.
Thank you, Professor. We return now to our New York studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin. Professor Morse of McGill University reports a total of 3 explosions on the planet Mars. This confirms early reports from American observatories. Now a special announcement. At 8:50 p.m., a huge flaming object fell on a farm in Grover's Mill, New Jersey, 22 miles from Princeton. Flash in the sky was visible within a radius of several hundred miles, and the noise of the impact was heard as far north as Elizabeth. We have dispatched a special mobile unit to the scene, and will have our commentator give you a description as soon as she can reach Princeton. Meanwhile, back to our studio.
Professor Pearson and myself are here now. The scene before my eyes is like something out of a modern Arabian Nights. There is this thing directly in front of me, half buried in a vast pit. Must have struck with terrific force. The object looks like a huge cylinder. It has a diameter of about 30 yards. I've never seen anything like it. The color is sort of yellowish white. Curious spectators now are pressing close to the object in spite of the efforts of police to keep them back. They're getting in front of my line of vision. Would you mind standing aside, please? Hundreds of cars are parked in a field here. Police are trying to rope off the roadway leading to the farm, but people are breaking through. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something I haven't mentioned in all this excitement, but it's becoming more distinct. Listen! Do you hear it? It's a humming sound that seems to come from inside.
It's moving. Look, the gas is unscrewing. Keep back! Keep back, I'm telling you! Maybe there's nothing to try to escape. It's that hot. No faster. Maybe keep them back there. Keep those idiots back. Oh, she's off. The top is loose. Look out there. Stand back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I have ever witnessed. Something is crawling out of the hollow top. I can see 2 luminous discs. Are they eyes? It might be a face. It might be... Things are wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake. They look like tentacles to me. I can see a body. It's as large as a bear. The eyes are black and green like a serpent. The mouth is shaped with saliva dripping from its rimless lips. They seem to quiver and pulsate. The monster can hardly move. It seems weighed down by gravity. Now it's rising up. I'll pull this microphone with me as I take a new position. Hold on. A humped shape is rising out of the pit. There's a jet of flame leaping right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Good Lord, they're turning into flame! Now the whole field's on fire. The woods, the barns, the gas tanks of automobiles. It's spreading everywhere. It's coming this way. About 20 yards to my right.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover Mills. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our field transmission. And now, back to our studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been handed a telephone message. At least 40 people, including 6 state troopers, lie dead in a field east of the village of Grover's Mill. Their bodies burned and distorted beyond all possible recognition.
This is Brigadier General Montgomery Smith, commander of the New Jersey State Militia. I have placed the counties of Mercer and Middlesex as far west as Princeton and east to Jamesburg under martial law. 4 companies of state militia are proceeding from Trenton to Grover's Mill.
This is Professor Pearson. The creatures in the rocket cylinder obviously have scientific knowledge far in advance of our own. They're able to generate an intense heat with a heat ray.
This is Captain Lansing of the New Jersey State Signal Corps, now engaged in military operation in the vicinity of Grover's Mill. The situation is now under complete control. It looks almost like a real war. There appears to be some slight smoke in the woods. Probably fires started by campers. One of my companies is deploying on the left flank. No cause for concern. A quick thrust, it'll be all over.
Let's return to Ramona Raquello in our studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement. Experts now believe those strange beings are invaders from the planet Mars. The battle at Grover's Mill tonight had 7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns pitted against a single fighting machine from Mars. 120 known survivors. The rest strewn over the battle area, crushed and trampled to death or burned to cinder by its heat rays. The monster is now in control of the middle section of New Jersey. Communication lines are down. Railroad service from New York to Philadelphia discontinued. Highways clogged with frantic human traffic. Police and Army reserves are unable to control the masses. Bulletins too numerous to mention are piling up here in our studio. Stay tuned for the military broadcasting system.
This is Army Bombing Plane V-8-43 Orville, New Jersey. I'm Lieutenant Boyd, commanding 8 bombers reporting to Langdon Field. 8 machines now in sight, 6 altogether. A thick black fog hanging close to the earth of extreme density. Nature unknown. They're spraying us with flame. Only one thing left for us to do now. We have to drop on them. Plane and all. We're diving on them. Now the plane's gone. 8, 7, 6, 5.
Was blind.
Buffalo, Chicago, St. Louis. First machine reached the shore here. This is the end now. Smoke comes out. Black smoke drifting over the city. Thousands of people are dropping like rats. Yet the smoke is crossing 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue, 100 yards away, 50 feet.
2X calling CQ, 2X2L calling CQ, New York. Isn't there anyone on the air? Isn't there anyone on the air? Isn't there anyone?
This is Orson Welles, ladies and gentlemen. Out of character, to assure you that the War of the Worlds was a holiday offering. It is Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying, "Boom!" So, goodbye everybody, and remember, if your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian. It's Halloween!
From San Francisco comes
Rice-A-Roni. The flavor can't be beat.
Rice-A-Roni, the flavor can't be beat. 1 mango boiling cookies, the flavor that is sure to please.
Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat.
Rice-A-Roni, the delicious break from potatoes, now in 6 fabulous flavors.
1 mango boiling cookies.
The flavor that is sure to please. Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. Oh, you're crowning glory too. A luster cream shampoo. Tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a luster cream shampoo. Loveliness and lather, even in hottest water. Luster cream, not a soap, not a liquid, but a dainty cream shampoo. 4-ounce jar, only $1. Tonight, try Luster Cream Shampoo and be a dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. Oh, your crowning glory too, a luster cream shampoo.
Does anyone remember the Miss Rheingold contest? Beer drinkers voted each year on the young lady who would be featured as Miss Rheingold in advertisements. The selection of Miss Rheingold was as highly anticipated as the race for the White House. Do you remember the first Miss Rheingold, Jinx Falkenberg? Well, here's Jinx now.
My beer is Rheingold, they drag me. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy me. It's not bitter, not sweet, it's the extra dry tree. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer? It's not bitter, not sweet, it's the extra dry tree. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer?
And now, on a lighter note, the subject of children's programming. How many of us remember listening to Let's Pretend on Saturday mornings?
Cream of Wheat, the Great American Family Cereal presents Let's Pretend.
Cream of wheat is so good to eat, yes, we have it every day. We sing this song, it will make us strong, it will make us shout hooray! It's good for growing babies and grown-ups too to eat. For all the family breakfast, you can eat cream of wheat.
The Jack Benny Program.
The Jack Benny Show was broadcast on CBS from 1932 to 1955, over the course of more than 3 decades. Brought to you by Jell-O.
J-E-L-L-O. The big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. The big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. That's Jell-O, yum, yum, yum. Jell-O pudding, yum, yum, yum. Jell-O tapioca pudding, yes, sirree.
Other than Jack and his real-life wife, Mary Livingston, the regulars were his valet, Rochester, his announcer, Don Wilson, brash Southern band leader, Phil Harris, and the never-aging 20-year-old Irish tenor, Dennis Day. Here is Dennis now with an old favorite.
When first I saw the love light in your eyes, I dreamed the world held not but joy for me. And even though we drifted far apart, I never dreamed but what I dreamed of thee. I loved you as I've never loved before, since first I met you on the village green. Come to me, ere my dream of love are o'er. I loved you as I loved you when you were sweet, when you were sweet, 16.
Many ongoing characters were portrayed by the famous voice of Mel Blanc, also known to the world as the voice of Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, and that famous laugh of Woody Woodpecker. And who can ever forget his character, Cy the Mexican? Here is a typical skit with Jack and Mel.
Excuse me. Are you El Supremo's Prime Minister?
See,
I understand El Supremo holds his prisoners for ransom.
see,
And the ransom is 1,000 bushels of beans.
see,
What kind of beans?
soy,
Soy?
see,
And what's your name?
side,
Sai?
see,
I understand you have a sister.
see,
What's her name?
Sue,
Sue. Sue?
see,
What does Sue do for a living?
so,
So?
see.
Oh, for goodness sake. souls of evildoers everywhere. Lamont Cranston, a man of wealth, a student of science, and master of other people's mind, devotes his life to righting wrongs, solving crimes, protecting the innocent, and punishing the guilty. Using advanced methods that may ultimately become available to all law enforcement agencies, Cranston is known to the underworld as the Shadow, never seen, only heard. With his friend and constant companion, the lovely Margot Lane, the Shadow meets up with danger tonight when the ghost walks again. But first, a message from our sponsor.
Full of nuts is that heavenly coffee, heavenly coffee, heavenly coffee. Chock full of nuts is that heavenly coffee, better coffee Rockefeller's money can't buy.
At 79 Wistful Vista, there lived Fibber McGee and Molly. Fibber was a fast-talking man who was prone to exaggeration. He had his radio audience